Good morning, boys and girls. I am back, and today I am going to continue to read Behind the Bedroom Wall by Laura E. Williams. And now we are moving on to chapter 9. Karina, did you hear me? Rita demanded as they walked to their young model meeting on Friday. What? Rita looked at her friend through narrowed eyes. What's the matter with you today? I'm sorry, Karina said. I feel a little lightheaded. I must still be sick. In fact, I don't think I should stop at your house and then go to the meeting. I don't blame you. After what happened yesterday, Rita said. Karina almost thought she saw a smirk on her best friend's face, but she must have imagined it. She told herself quickly. That's not why, Karina said defensively. I'm just feeling a bit tired. You go on. Tomorrow you can tell me what happened. She started to turn down a side street toward her house. I don't think I'll go today either, Rita said unexpectedly, turning the corner with her friend. I'll come home with you. It's been a long since you've had me over at school, Karina. And remember, your mother did invite me over this week. But that was before, Karina abruptly cut herself off. Before what? Rita asked. Karina shook her head. Never mind. But you can come over anyway. Why not? My mother wasn't expecting you, Karina stammered. She won't have enough food prepared. That's fine. I won't stay for dinner. Your mother won't mind if I just stop by. Will she? At one time, Karina knew her mother wouldn't have minded. But now that the Jews have moved in, she wondered what the Krugmans were doing at the moment. You know I'm always welcome at your house, Rita persisted. What's gotten into you? What? There you go again, Rita exclaimed. You're impossible. Karina shook her head as though to clear it. I'm sorry, Rita. I really must still be sick. Maybe it's better if you don't come over, she said, forcing herself to sound calm. I'll only come for a little while, unless, of course, you really don't want me to, Rita said in a casual voice. Karina sighed. They were almost to her house. No, it's all right. You can come over, but not for too long. I think I should lay down for a bit before dinner. Fine, I won't stay long, Rita said as she preceded her friend to the front door and walked in without waiting for Karina. Karina followed on her friend's heels. Hello, mother, she called as soon as she was in the house. Did you have to yell right in my ear? Rita demanded, lifting a hand to her right ear. This house isn't that big. Karina smiled wanly at her friend, then turned her attention to her mother, who just stepped into a small front hall. Why, hello, Rita, Frau Rem said politely. I haven't seen you here lately. You should stop by more often. Rita turned her head slightly and grinned at Karina. Karina didn't bother smiling back. Thank you, Frau Rem. Karina and I decided to skip our meeting this afternoon. We thought it was best after what happened at yesterday's meeting. Oh, what happened? Asked Karina's mother with a raised eyebrow. Rita's eyes flew wide. You mean Karina didn't tell you the awful thing that happened? No, she didn't, Frau Rip said. But I'm sure you will, she added wryly. Karina poked her finger into her friend's back. It was nothing. Come on, let's go upstairs. But, Karina, you really should tell your mother what happened yesterday. I'm sure she wants to know. Rita turned to Frau Rim. Karina was slapped by one of our leaders for not saluting the flag properly. Oh, is that all? Karina's mother turned to her daughter. You really should do things properly, dear, or you'll be or you'll be punished. It's only right that your leader slapped you. You must learn to be more respectful. Karina lowered her gaze. She couldn't believe her mother was responding like this. She hadn't wanted to tell her about the slap yesterday because she hadn't wanted her to get upset. But her mother wasn't upset. Karina felt a lump form in her throat. Karina, her mother said gently. Karina looked up. Her mother's eyes shone with tears. She was upset. It suddenly dawned on Karina that her mother just didn't want Rita to know. She smiled tremendously she smiled tremulously at her mother. You're right, mother, she said evenly. I was just tired from not feeling well these last few days. It won't happen again, I promise. I should hope not, Frau Rem said firmly. Let's go upstairs, Karina said to her friend. Or maybe we should just sit in here, she amended quickly, pointing to the front room. She didn't want to chance Rita hearing any mouse noises from behind her wardrobe. Rita shook her head. Now let's go up to your room. Corina reluctantly led her friend up the stairs. In Corina's room, Rita said, I thought your mother would get upset about the slap. Then why did you tell her? Corina asked loudly as she purposely dumped her book bag noisily against the wardrobe. She hoped the Krugmans could hear her talking to Rita and would keep quiet. I just thought she ought to know. You are her daughter, after all, Rita said defensively. Next time, let me do the telling, Karina said, unable to keep the anger from her voice. Sorry. Karina glanced at her friend. She didn't look sorry. Oh, forget it. Where's your kitten? Rita asked. Karina froze. She'd forgotten about the kitten. Where was she? With Rachel? Here, kitty, Rita called, leaning down and looking under Karina's desk. No, don't do that, Karina said quickly, fearing she'd hear a soft meow coming from behind the wardrobe. She doesn't answer to that. She'll come out when she feels like it. Rita frowned. Where does she hide? Can we go look for her? Corina tried to sound enthusiastic. Sure, let's try downstairs. She loves the kitchen. She knew they probably wouldn't find a kid anywhere except behind her wardrobe. But at least she was getting Rita out of her room and away from the Cragbats' hideaway. The girls found Karina's mother in the kitchen. Mother, Karina said, have you seen my kitten? No, I haven't, dear, but let me help you look. I'll search upstairs, Frau Rum said quickly, hurrying out of the room. Haven't you named your kitten yet? Rita asked. Not yet. I can't think of a good name, Karina said, making a show of looking for her kitten behind the stove. Rita stooped to look under the kitchen chairs. Here she is, Frau Rim called from the top landing. Corina followed her friend up the stairs. So she was up here after all, Rita said, taking the kitten from Frau Rim's hands. Thank you, Mother. Corina's mother squeezed one of her daughter's hands as they passed each other on the stairs. She's cute, Rita said begrudgingly, tickling the kitten on her stomach. The kitten kicked and clawed with her sharp nails. Ouch! Rita exclaimed. She yanked her hand away from the kitten's grip. She tried to bite me. Karina smiled, taking the animal from Rita. She's just playing. She scratched her pet behind the ears. Rita moved to sit on the edge of the bed as Karina continued to stroke the kitten. My parents are the enemy, Rita read aloud. Karina's head jerked up. Her hand reached forward to grab the black notebook from Rita's hands, but she wasn't quick enough. She had left the book under her pillow. What does this mean? Rita asked, standing on the bed to hold the book above Karina's reaching hand. Karina's heart leaped to her throat. Nothing. It means nothing. I was just mad at my parents one day. I didn't even remember why. Rita jumped off the bed and hid the black book back under Karina's pillow. Better watch you write, she warned. If a young mother later read that, she'd ask you a lot of questions. Of course, I believe what you just told me, but the leader might not. Rita's eyes darted around the room. Was it Karina's imagination, or did her friend's eyes rest a little longer on on the wardrobe than on anything else? Karina was glad when Rita said she had to go home. Don't tell anyone about what I wrote, Karina said. She wasn't ready to turn her parents yet. Rita paused in the doorway. I won't. Your secrets are safe with me. Then she raced down the stairs and out the front door. When she was sure Rita was gone, Karina tore the page out of her black notebook and put the book in her bag. She took the page and ripped it into tiny pieces, trying not to think about what she was doing. After dinner, Karina sat down at her desk and tried to do her homework. She wrote a short essay and studied her history book, but it was hard to concentrate for some reason. Finally, she gave up. Looking out the window, the murky sky depressed her. She closed the drapes to shut out the gloom, but it didn't help. The gloom had settled in her heart. On sudden impulse, she knocked on the wardrobe, then slowly pulled it away from the wall. The candlelight from the hidden room spilled out into her bedroom. Sophie, pale, eyes wide, stared up at Corina. No one spoke for a full minute. Corina didn't know what to say. What was she doing? She caught Rachel's gaze. The little girl's eyes were dark and wide like her mother's. But while the mother's held fear and suspicion, Rachel's eyes looked sad and lonely. Still, Corina couldn't speak. She motioned for the little girl to crawl out of her cramped space into Corina's room. Rachel asked her mother with her eyes, and after a slight pause, Sophie gave a curt nod. Rachel scrambled out from behind the wardrobe, and Karina pushed it back into place. Karina and Rachel sat in the darkening room, facing each other, legs crossed, elbows on knees. Do you want to play? Rachel whispered. Karina shrugged. Play what? We could play dress up or house, Rachel said, her excitement voice soon rising above a whisper. You could be the daddy and I am the mommy, or let's play soldier. Soldier? Karina said. You're a soldier and I am a Jew, and you capture me. Then we switch places and you're the Jew. Why would you want to play that? Karina asked sharply. I've never played it before, Rachel said, her voice dropping as though she sensed she'd said something she shouldn't have. Then how do you know about this game? The boys who lived nearby used to play it. What boys? Henrik and Werner and some of the other boys. Were they Jews? Rachel's eyes widened. No, she whispered. Karina shook her head. She didn't understand the heat she felt inside. She didn't understand her sudden longing to take little Rachel on her lap and sing to her. She didn't understand anything anymore. At that moment, her mother walked into the bedroom. She pulled aside the wardrobe and said, The sun has set. I thought you'd like to know. Thank you, Frau Krugman said, lying aside her sewing. Puzzled, Corina watched Rachel crawl back behind the wardrobe. It's time for the Krugman Sabbath prayers, Frau Rem said, as though sensing Corina's question. She looked to say goodbye to Rachel, but what Frau Krugman was doing caught her eyes instead. She had turned a box upside down, and on it she had placed two candlesticks. Visions of a similar scene popped into her head as she recalled her childhood friend Anita inviting her over for the Sabbath prayers and dinner a few times. It had been so long ago she'd forgotten, but now a strange yearning for her childhood washed over her. How simple it had been then, with Anita Skynman as her best friend, and nothing more to worry about than whether her dolls and enough to eat, and if Papa would tell her a story after supper. The Kragmans now stared at the candles, waiting to be left alone. Quietly, Corina pushed the wardrobe against the wall, shutting out the soft sound of the melodic Hebrew prayers. And this is what Corina, not Corina, but Rachel and her mother are doing. They are praying. And that's the end of chapter 9. I am going to continue chapter 10 tomorrow. I kind of start to like Corina now, the way that she has changed her attitude towards the Krugmans. Aren't you? Or I hope you're paying attention.